And now it's time for a more lighthearted segment, Tips for Good. So Nathan, why do we do Tips for Good every week?
Well, Michael, I'm so glad you asked, because we do Tips for Good every week because pretty please, don't you ever feel like you're less than fucking perfect. Pretty please, if you ever feel like you're nothing, you're fucking perfect to me.
Wow. Chills.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah. You know, I actually considered for a second doing because I'm still kind of shaking from the last segment, I considered doing a song that was like more death metal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna do it pleasant. It's Tips for Good. Let's do something pleasant.
That's nice. Because pleasant things make the world a better place.
They do. Oh my God, they do. Pleasant things absolutely make the world a better place. Which coincidentally is exactly why we do Tips for Good.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Maybe
we
should
should just do
darndest thing,
that.
ain't it? Let's do that.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's do that. All right, Michael, what's our tip for good this week?
Nathan, I have 3 words for you for our tip for good this week.
All right, let's hear them.
Orphan, crushing, machine.
Okay, we don't like that.
So,
wait, I thought this was Tips for Good. Are we supposed to be positive?
We'll get there. So, this is a little bit of like a meta segment, somewhat about the segment that we do on Good Actually. Good Actually is a segment where we try to find stories in the news that are actually unapologetically good. And every once in a while, Nathan's really good at holding us accountable for this. Every once in a while, I'll bring a story to Nathan and be like, dude, look at this story. It's so sweet. You know, we've all heard it. You know, child of a single mother, you know, sells lemonade to afford cancer treatment. And it's like, this is so sweet. That's so heartwarming. You know, all that stuff. And Nathan is good if I bring a story like that at going like, dude, that's not good. And this has been a phenomenon. Calling that out has been a phenomenon on the internet, marked by the term orphan crushing machine, which stands for an imaginary story, like the one I mentioned. You know, local hero saves orphans from orphan crushing machine.
Yeah.
And sure, at first you might think, boy, that is a good story. What a hero. And not stop to think, why is there an orphan crushing machine? And so this has become a little bit of a test. And I think it's a good one. It's a good thing to keep in your mind. It's a good orphan crushing machine is a pretty eye-catching and attention-keeping idea to, as you're moving through the world and seeing stories and that are heartwarming about people doing good. Don't forget that so often the good they do is only possible because they exist within a system that is horrible.
Yeah.
And not recognizing that, not noticing the orphan crushing machine is overall destructive.
Yeah. Look, in the example of, you know, the kid sells lemonade to afford their mother's cancer treatment. Look, that isn't to say that kid isn't amazing. Right?
Yes.
But what it is to say is that we should not be living in a system where a fucking child has to sell lemonade for their mother to live. All right.
Exactly.
We should have a system where our healthcare is a healthcare system that actually makes sense, where it's as simple as sick, help, boom. You shouldn't be less worthy of life because you can't afford healthcare. Or all these heartwarming stories of local parents that donated a bunch of money to teachers so that they could afford to actually have school supplies. That's not to say that the parents that did that are bad. It's to say that the system that forced them to do that is horrible. Exactly. And that should be the focus of the story. Focus of the story should be, holy shit, why are we not giving teachers the resources to actually have decent supplies?
Yep. It's in the search for good news. we overlook a critique of the fact that there is a machine crushing orphans.
And that's Tips for Good.